Then opens up the squirrel, but really give him hell. The gator loving bite.
Why the Irish Rovers started their show tonight with a country song called The Battle of New Orleans? Very simply, can I explain it? Yeah. It was originally an Irish tune called The 8th of January when they played it on the fiddle. I know you're going to say that's not true, but it is true. A couple of 100 years ago, mind you, the first time I heard it, I thought it was written about my birthday, which is the 8th of January. Then I found out it was written to celebrate another momentous event. That was the Battle of New Orleans, yeah.
I can't believe that, Willie.
I knew he was going to say that, so I have living proof that it was an Irish tune, Wilcil. See? Irish Wilcil, 200 years old. The 8th of January. Jimmy Ferguson was the great country singer. He took that old Irish fiddle tune, the 8th of January, and he wrote The Battle of New Orleans. That's not the only one. There was a lot of Irish tunes that were turned into great country songs.
As a matter of fact, Willie, one could safely say there would not be any country music at all if it were not for the wonderful dear little country that I come from.
Yes.
And the music that came with me.
Well, I might not go that far, but I will tell you that a lot of country tunes got their start in dear old Ireland. Now, for instance, if I took you back to Dublin 200 years ago, you may hear an old harpist sitting there in the streets playing a strange but yet familiar tune called The Bard of Armagh.
Oh, listen to the strains of a poor Irish harper, and scorn not the strings from his poor withered hand. Remember his fingers could once move more sharper, to raise up the memory of his dear native land. At fair or at wake, I could twist my silly wing, or trip through the jig with me broke boundless draw, and all the pretty maids in the village and valley. Love a boat to play, the bars of Mars.
You told me that you were just going to listen to us.
I can't help it. I can't. There's so many wonderful songs that came from that melody.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites, which I just have to sing. As I walked out in the streets of Paris, I walked out in the rain over day. I spied a young cowboy all wrapped in white linen, wrapped in white linen as cold as the clay. So keep the drum slowly and play the pipe low, play the dead march as they carry me along. For I'm a young cowboy who's done no one the honor, but I'm a young cowboy who might have done wrong.
Hey, Oscar, I got another one. See if you recognize this tune. I travel all over this world, and now you wherever I go. And good quarters are waiting to welcome my Rosalind home. To welcome my Rosalind home. To welcome my Rosalind home. And good quarters are waiting to welcome my Rosalind home. $1 million on the counter. I want you to come from the home. Then come down the heart and hold me to drink with a rod in the bowl. Here we go. Drink with a rod in the bowl. Drink with a rod in the bowl. Say come down the heart and hold me to drink with a rod in the bowl.
That song was Abraham Lincoln's campaign song.
Yeah.
It was the state song of Washington. And then it became very important on the country music hit parade as the Willow Guarding.
Yeah.
Right on. Down by the Willow Garden, by all the happy trees, was where we sat our garden, but all the way down to the sea. Well, I had a bottle of burgundy wine with my true love. She did not know. And then I murdered that dear little gal down under the bank below. I told you it all was Irish. Not entirely. Not entirely. There are other influences at work. For instance, years ago I heard Newfoundland, a beautiful lament, a love song for a dead cow. It went, oh, Drinandon, why did you die? Oh, Drinandon, why did you die? Your back was so black and your tail so long. And my Drinandon Derry, she ne'er will come home. Well, the years went by and it became a vaudeville Irish song that went, 'tis a mournful tragedy, I'll tell you right now, about an old man and he had but one cow. So he sent his old cow to the fields to be fed when the word come back saying, your Drinnan lies dead. And he said, oh, moonshine, there's no Well, now, I was in New York and I met Hugh Ledbetter. And he heard the old Irish song, and he decided to swing it with the African beat that made such a difference. And then Pete Seeger and the Weavers heard the version we heard, and they liked it, but they said, a song to a dead cow, never make it. But a love song, ah, yes. And that's how come Kisses Sweeter Than Wine was. I was a young man, never been kissed. I got to thinking it over, what I had missed. I got me a gal, I kissed her in bed, oh Lord. I kissed her again, for she had kisses sweeter than wine. Again. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Well, I asked her
to marry, to be my dear wife, so we would be happy for all of our lives. I cooked, I pleaded like a natural man until, oh Lord, she gave me her hand, 'cause she had kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Well, I worked very hard, and so did my wife. We worked hand in hand to make a good life. Corn in the cribs and wheat in the bins, and then, my Lord, I was the father of twins, 'cause she had kisses sweeter than wine. Everyone, kisses sweeter than wine. Well, the kids, they numbered just about 4. They all had sweethearts knocking on the door. They all got married, just couldn't wait. And then, oh Lord, I was the grandfather of 8. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Now I'm kind of old, yes, I'm ready to go. I get to thinking what happened a long time ago. Had some kids and trouble and pain, but, oh Lord, I'd do it again, 'cause she had kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine.
I told you that love comes from the Irish. Well, there was a lot of Irish songs that influenced country music. A lot of them were love songs. The Irish wrote love songs to horses. They wrote them to women even, would you believe? They wrote them to dead cows. But I suppose the greatest love song from Ireland was the love song of man for his recipe for Irish whiskey.
Oh, lovely.
Illegal poteen. Yeah. Tennessee wine, as they called it in different parts. They called it in New Zealand, as a matter of fact. We found they make it down there, and they call it Hakanui, Screech in Newfoundland, whatever you want to call it.
But it's still Irish, because where I came from in Belfast, they called it holy water.
And in the mountains, they still call it, it's rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If I don't get rye whiskey, till I die.
Well, they didn't know how to handle that Irish whiskey recipe down in those Kentucky mountains, but in Ireland, where they invented the stuff, they sang more lovingly and mellowly about it like this here. I've been a moonshiner for many a year. I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. I'll go to some hollow and set up my skill, and I'll make you a gallon for a thanksgiving and will. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home. And if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I live when I'm hungry, I live when I'm dry. And a moonshine don't kill me, I live till I die. I'll go to some hollow in this country. 10 gallons I shake and go on a spree. No women to follow, the world is all mine. And I love none as well as I love me moonshine. I'm a gambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home. And if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I live when I'm hungry, I live when I'm dry. And a moonshine don't kill me, I live till I die. I'm a gambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home. And if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I live when I'm hungry, I live when I'm dry. And a moonshine don't kill me, I live till I die. Those lovely Irish Rovers will be right back.
Tuesday night, it's the Rene Samar.
There's a running like a tiger, take a big double run. On the center, he is nothing else to do. When you take a leg, the kind of with the gun, ready to I suppose that song's Irish and it's a couple of 100 years old. It was known as the Little Beggar Man for all those years. But when the settlers came in with their fiddles to the Kentucky mountains, those banjo pickers down there picked it up and changed the title to the Red-Haired Boy.
I cannot accept that, Willie.
Well, I just happen to have living proof of my statement, and none better than a great banjo picker, Doug Hillard, who's telling that was Doug Dillard, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest fighting banjo player I ever met. Come on up here, Doug. Hey, Doug, welcome to the show, Doug. I don't know if you could do a country show without singing some songs about trains. Back at the Ice House in Pasadena in those early days with Doug Dillard and the boys, we always sang songs about trains because Doug could make a great sound of a train lonely on the banjo. Slowly. Sing about the streamline cannonball. Well, long still and short course I'm on my way back home. Well, the train she's the queen of the Will soon blows reality's the day. The fireworks flash, you can't see. It's a warm love, it's a wife I'm feeling, and that's home, sweet home to me. We're long steel rail, and short cross time. I'm on my way back home. With a train I ride, she's the queen of them all. She's a free like cannonball. Whoa, whoa, that's the way it is. But the free like
was CBC's...
Your feeling heart will make you weep. You'll try and cry and try to sleep, but sleep won't come. No night through. Your feeling heart will tell on you. When tears come down like rain, you'll pop around and hold my hand. You'll walk alone the way I do. Your feeling heart will tell on you. Your feeling heart will tell on you.
How about that, folks? Your cheating heart. Whenever you hear songs like that, the great names of country singers come at you. Names like Hank Williams and the singing brakeman Jimmy Rogers, A.P. Carter and the Carter family, and we could never forget that great Canadian Carter, cowboy Will Carter.
Waiting for the blue-eyed gal you met. While I'm riding range all day, my old ass is flying around in order straight.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir.
Really happy that you made it. Well, all those names I was talking about were mainly names that made it in the United States. But you were one of the very first singing cowboys in Canada here.
Well, I guess I was one of the first ones sitting up there. But I think I got most of my education up in the Canadian Rockies.
Yeah.
Working for the Canadian Pacific Railways and singing them wonderful songs on the trail. Blue Canadian Rockies,
Beautiful.
My Swiss Moonlight Lullaby, and that other beautiful number, Springtime in the Rockies.
When it's springtime in the Rockies, I'm coming back to you. Little sweetheart on the mountain, with your bonny eyes so blue. Once again I'll say I love you, while the birds sing all the day. When the springtime in the Rockies far away. You know, folks, what more could an old cowboy ask? To be sitting in his little log shack here in the beautiful Canadian Rockies. It's really a wonderful, wonderful spot. And I'm listening to the rippling of a stream, and also in the distance I hear lone coyotes howl. It was here that I learned many of these songs that I sing in these Canadian Rockies. When it's springtime in the Rockies, I'm coming back to you. Little sweetheart on the mountain, with your bonny eyes so blue. Once again I'll say I love you, while the birds sing all the day. When springtime in the Rockies, far away.
You know, I suppose I really got interested in guitar with people like yourself, the singing cowboys, and especially when I went to the movies and seen all those great heroes of the silver screen, that's what really used to turn me on.
Does that really turn you on?
You used to know some of those guys, didn't you?
You know, there was Ken Maynard, there was Tom Mix, there was Buck Jones, there was Gene Autry, there was Roy Rogers. And you know, sometimes I think I can still see them. But then there's other times I think I see other things.
Oh, my darling.
The Irish Rovers will be right back with some more top excitement.
No.